Date night for the kids. Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Does it work or does it just indulge them? And the importance of setting limits. That's where we're going today on the Happy Families podcast, Real Parenting Solutions every day. This is Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. We're Justin and Kylie Coulson. Every Friday, we share news from our week. It's called I'll Do Better Tomorrow. What's working, what's not working in our home and in our family with our kids, in the hope that us being intentional about our parenting will help you to be intentional about your parenting and raise happier kids, make your family happier. Kylie, I'm going to go first because my one is about getting heavy, coming in and setting limits. Increasingly, I'm seeing parents that really struggle with this. Like, we just want our kids to feel good all the time. We want them to have good things in their lives. And I'm susceptible to that like anybody else. Like, we try not to have too many rules for our kids. Would that be fair?
Yep, that would be.
And sometimes they do take advantage of that. So for those of you who have missed the memo, Emily is our youngest. 2 stories about Emily today, actually. One from you and one from me. But
we're not going to be very popular with the other kids today, are we?
Our kids get angry when we don't share stories about them. I'm sorry, kids. Today is all about Emily. So Emily's 11. She's being homeschooled. She's technically in grade 5 and she's keeping up with the curriculum. But just recently, she has been unenthusiastic since the school holidays, because we do school holidays. She's been unenthusiastic about homeschool.
Yeah.
Really just doesn't want to be doing it. And the other day you said to her, until you've done your writing, there was a specific writing assignment that she had to do. Until you've done the writing, no, you can't watch TV. And she's like, but I want to play a game, or I want to watch YouTube, or I want to all this. She just wanted to be on the screen, and you said no. And as a result of that, she refused to do her writing, but then she also refused to do any other lessons as well, which meant that the morning was completely unproductive, and then you had to go out. So I'm in the office. Emily comes into me and says, Dad, can I watch the TV? I give you a quick call to check in and find out what she's up to with schoolwork, and you reaffirmed to me that she hadn't done her writing and that there's no TV until the writing's done. And like, sometimes she's got a lot of energy for this and she wins because you've got other things to do, and we just sort of shrug our shoulders, go, you know what, it's too hard and we're just going to give her the remote because we need 20 minutes to record a podcast or whatever. But you were out, I had work to do, and I just looked at her and I said, I'm so sorry, kiddo. I love you so much, and I wish that you could have 20 or 30 minutes watching an episode on telly, but you've not done your writing assignment for homeschool today, and so therefore I can't let you watch TV. And she lost it. I mean, a total screaming banshee. If I was a neighbor, I would have thought that this was a call to the police, right? Like, and I wasn't near her. I didn't make any threats. I was extremely loving, gentle, and kind. But she lost it, and she wailed as she ran through the house and cried that I was the worst parent in the world and did all the stuff. And then she came back to me about an hour later and said, Dad, I've done 5 lessons. Now, I don't know how she did 5 homeschool lessons in 1 hour, but she showed me the evidence, and she actually had. They were pretty easy lessons, but she'd done 5 lessons, and she was like, can I watch TV now because I've done all the lessons that I had to do today? And I said, what about the writing assignment that you had to do? And she just lost it again. She said, I don't want to do it. It's the worst. And when I tried to ask her about it, it just came down to it was not about ability, and it wasn't even about the valid, the usefulness of that particular assignment. She just had zero motivation for doing it. And I was like, well, kiddo, I'm so sorry. I'm so glad you've done 5 lessons and you deserve a high five and a hug for that. But she hid, so she wouldn't let me do that. I said, no TV. And Kylie,
you're the worst.
This was worse. She responded worse the second time because now she felt like she'd earned it because she'd done the 5 lessons. And I'm sitting there going, I'm trying to write a book here about parenting and I'm being tested. Finally, she came to me about half an hour later and she did the writing assignment. She showed it to me and she said, now can I watch TV? And I had to look at it, and she did a completely satisfactory job. She was able to do it all the way through. And I said, well, it's so funny you ask. Mum's going to be home in a couple of minutes, so we're going to show this to Mum, and Mum will decide whether you've done it satisfactorily or not, and then we'll work out whether you can watch TV. But well done. You did the hard thing. And once you do the hard stuff, then you get to do the good stuff. And it was just, I guess my I'll do better tomorrow is this. Setting limits matters. And our children, if they can, just like a river, they will find the path of least resistance unless we provide the supports and the expectations that they will do the hard stuff before they get the good stuff. And I don't know, it was just one of those moments where it crystallized for me. Our kids need limits. And when they have the limits, they do live up to the expectations we have of them. They can do it. I just felt like it was a great parenting moment and needed to be shared today in case any parent is starting to think, I'm wavering, it's getting too hard, maybe I should let go of the limits. They matter, right? They matter with context. You want to make sure that you're understanding what's really going on, but they matter. So what's your I'll do better tomorrow?
Well, I've actually had a really good win. School in general has been really tricky since we've got back, as you've already mentioned, but we've been making some really intentional decisions around food lately, and we had a couple of brilliant days with Emily. I introduced her to radish and snow peas and sugar beets, and she did amazing. And then we found ourselves alone, just her and I, one night. The girls were at youth, you were out, and I looked at her and I said, hey, Em, we've got the house to ourselves. Do you think we should have a little date night? And she said, yes. And I said, maybe we could get a little treat. You know what she said to me? She literally looked at me and she said, Mum, I don't know if I want to put that bad food in my body after I've been eating so well.
Winning.
I was like, who is this kid?
Right.
But I thought, you've been doing so well, and I don't want her to think it's an all or nothing.
Yeah, so let's not be religiously fanatic about what our kids are eating.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
And so I said to her, I just thought maybe we could go get a scoop of gelato, or we could just go home and have a hot chocolate with some marshmallows. And she looked at me and she said, oh, I could probably do a hot chocolate. She said, we probably shouldn't get Tim Tam, should we? And I looked at her and I said, you know what? If we're only having it even once a week, we're doing 100 times better than we've been doing in a very long time. I think we could get a packet of Tim Tams.
Right, so you're undermining the very thing that you're trying to encourage. That you bought the Tim Tams, right?
I brought the Tim Tams.
I didn't see those Tim Tams. Are they still? They're gone, aren't they?
No, someone else found them.
Oh, one of the people who are less conscious about.
Yes.
Okay, all right, go on. So you bought the Tim Tams,
and we came home. We made hot chocolate. I only gave her half a cup. I have quite big mugs, to be honest. So I gave her half a cup of that, and I put a couple of marshmallows in it. And she had 2 Tim Tams. So it's a pretty big sugar rush after having not had it for a couple of days, but she sat down and we were playing a game together, and at the end of her second Tim Tam, she looked at me and she said, I don't think I should have done that, Mum. I really don't feel well.
That's so good.
I'm struggling to find the words because this is so massive.
Yeah.
This is massive.
This is that whole thing, though, the conversation that I've been trying to have with them, and that is that your brain tells you lies. If you listen to your body, not your brain, you'll make different choices.
But if I had have told her she wasn't allowed a hot chocolate and she definitely wasn't allowed Tim Tams, number one, she would have missed out on the learning.
Right.
And number two, she would have thought I was the worst parent in the world.
Sure.
Second point is not so important, but the first one is. She would have missed out on the learning. By me allowing her to have it, she has now had an experience where she recognises how her body feels.
Trusting in our children's, the technical term in psychological speak is their organismic growth, trusting in their organismic developmental capacity to grow in healthy ways towards flourishing. That's fundamentally what this is about. Rather than making the decision for them, saying to them, let's give you a chance to do this and you can listen to what your body says. You get the sugar rush. Oh, that's really good. But 5 minutes later, where are you now?
2 days later.
Yeah.
She'd had a really good day with food again, and it was mid-afternoon and she was a bit peckish, and I said, why don't you go into the school treats bucket and get yourself out some grain waves?
I feel like I need to interrupt this story halfway with the going to get the brainwaves. And the reason I want to interrupt it is to emphasize just how into pre-packaged, non-healthy food this kid has always been. Like yellow and white foods only. And now you're having this experience. Anyway, so she goes to get the brainwaves, I guess?
She goes and gets the brainwaves.
Which are a food product, not a food.
She comes back to me, I'm not sure, maybe 3 or 4 minutes later, and she has half a packet of brainwaves in her hand. And she said, Mum, I don't think I can eat these anymore. That's the punchline. She literally said.
I just realised I'm looking at you slack-jawed because I didn't know this, and I forgot we're doing a podcast and people can't see my face. I'm looking at you like, She didn't even finish the packet.
She did not finish the packet. Now, I could give her a full-size packet and she would have devoured
Correct.
that.
Yeah, totally.
This is just one of those little individual packets with, 6 chips in it.
Wow.
And she literally said, I can't finish this. Do you want them?
Take-home message.
The take-home message is our kids just need... I think this is a boundary conversation again.
Oh, really?
I do. I think that it's so... We fall into these traps of providing our kids with the things that provide us with the
least friction, like the easiest possible way forward.
Yes. Without giving them the opportunity to learn and grow. We've gone through this with her multiple times.
Yeah, this is not the first rodeo.
No,
Yeah.
we've gone through this multiple times with her. But again, scaffolding and maturity and ongoing initiation in this area is making
the reinforcement, the opportunities
is making all the difference. But what I'm loving is that she is experiencing the learning instead of me having to dictate and educate and kind of give her all of the reasons why she should be eating healthy. She's actually experiencing it. We're now nearly 2 weeks past this experience and she actually hasn't asked for a single sugar item.
Yeah, wow. So the take-home message for me, there are a couple. First of all, boundaries matter. And secondly, supporting kids' autonomy by helping them to understand reasons why, giving them the experiences that they need, and then trusting in their ability to make those decisions, to be in the driver's seat of their lives. For me, they're the two things that are really standing out here.
I think it's very easy as parents. We kind of keep hitting a brick wall with our kids in whatever area they're specifically struggling in. And we often lose steam. It's really easy to just kind of give up and take the path of least resistance to create peace in the home. What we're experiencing with Emily, this is 11 years of really hard work.
It is.
Very, very hard work. We have never had a child so resistant to food like Emily has been. But as we have continued to just reintroduce things, to educate her and to provide her with the support she needs to make good choices, we're starting. I'm not saying...
Yeah, we'll see how we're going next Friday.
I'm not saying that we're reached the pinnacle by any stretch, but it's
nirvana. Here we go.
This is a massive win, and I am just so grateful that in spite of the fact I've wanted to throw the towel in so many times, that we've just kept plodding along and working with her.
But that's the thing, as a parent, you never throw the towel in. That's the great challenge and the great reward. We really hope that there's some inspiration for you if you're having struggles in your family. Thank you so much for listening to I'll Do Better Tomorrow on the Happy Families podcast. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media, and more information and resources to make your family happier can be found at happyfamilies.com.au.